This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And the opening half hour for the week being brought to you by our good friends at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, the best in new inventory. Great pre-owned inventory with the all-important Sunbury Motors guarantee. They go over every one of them with a fine-tooth comb. It really eases the buying experience. And the service department, whether it's quick lane, inspections, routine, difficult, they handle it all at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors, Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Todd, good day to you.
Hello. I hope your weekend was wonderful.
Yes, it was, and I hope yours was as well.
It wasn't too bad.
Good. At breakfast this morning on the Riverwalk here in San Antonio. We'll be traveling back tomorrow. And the first question I got was, as I sat down, they said, "Y'all didn't bring that suit, did you?" I said, "No, it's not here." Everywhere we go. Everywhere. It's just one of those deals. Okay. Let's start with Yanic Konan Niederhauser, who it didn't surprise any of us that he did well at the G League Elite Camp. And they will take some players from G League Elite Camp and they will move them to the NBA Combine. So he is one of the players that will move to the NBA Combine. And he'll go through a series of games this week. There are, I'm trying to think, 75 is the original number. I think they take like 4 or 5 and move them over. And that gets you to 80. Remember, there are 59 picks in the draft. So I'm not surprised he got moved over because, look, this guy is going to he will go out. He will his measurables are going to be great. They could sit there and they could remeasure them all they want. It's the same measurements he had at the G League Elite Camp. And they'll do the measurements, the verticals, things like that. And he's one of those guys that did get moved over. Okay, that's fine. And now we'll see how he does in this grouping here. Okay? Now you may want to watch it. Well, in case you want to watch it, the Dylan Harpers, the Cooper Flaggs, the Ace Baileys of the world, Con Knipple, Trey Johnson, and, of course, Yanic Konan Niederhauser. So, the NBA Draft Combine will air live on ESPN2 and NBA Radio. NBA TV. My apologies. So, again, ESPN2 and NBA TV. The drills will be the standing vertical jump, maximum vertical jump, bench press, three-quarter court sprint time, lane agility, modified event time. The physical measurements include height and shoes, with shoes, height without shoes, wingspan, weight, standing reach, body fat, hand length, hand width. Then they'll do the shooting tests. The shooting tests will include the spot-up threes, shooting off the dribble, timed jump shots on the move. Okay? And you name the draft pick, they're there. The potential draft pick, they're there. Okay? And that's where and he'll make the move over there. 75 were in the original grouping. All right? And they're going to be and then they'll play games. I mean, the last two guys that were in the combine camp were both Jalen Pickett and Seth Lundy. They both ended up getting picked in the second round. Pickett was the 32nd pick, though. I mean, in other words, you get in that top 35, you're in really good shape. Lundy was, I want to say Lundy was 46 by Atlanta. And Lundy's now in the Clippers organization.
They're taking 5 from the G League Combine to the NBA Draft Combine.
Okay. Who are the other 4 besides Yanic?
Tamar Bates, Mackenzie Mbako, Ryan Nemhard, and Lachlan Ulbrich.
Mbako, of course, was with Indiana, with the Hoosiers. Outstanding three-point shooter. Nemhart was with Gonzaga after transferring from Creighton, if I recall correctly. His brother's in the NBA already. And of course there's, and I don't know about the other player. The other player I know nothing about.
Yeah, I'm Lachlan. I've not heard of Lachlan before.
No, nothing. Now this means that Yanic now goes out and competes head-to-head with Cooper Flagg. Gets to compete head-to-head with Ace Bailey. See how he does. You know? I mean, I know this is a mixed bag for people. Right? I understand it's a mixed bag. And the mixed bag is there are people that want him to come back to Penn State. Look, I just want whatever's best for him. If you know him, you just want what's best for him. And after that, we'll see how it plays out. I'm always about how does it – let's just see how it plays out. People hate when I say that because they want answers now. I've given you all the dates. Go through the week. He'll have until June 15th to make up his mind as to what he's being told by the pros. People hate when I talk like this.
I was going to say it certainly opens up more opportunities for him. I mean, not even NBA. I'm sure it got him on the radar of obviously the G League teams and some of the teams in Europe.
Well, G League. Look, if I were to pull him aside and say you don't want to do the G League, you don't.
No.
I mean, because his ability, he can go to the G League next year. You know what I mean? Only because you're going to get $40,500 in the G League. He's not going to make $40,500 at Penn State. You know, now this is about like, can he get himself in a draftable position? And not, you know, if you're a two-way, that's $567,000. If you're on a rookie contract, the rookie minimum is 1.1. You know, so I'm just giving you numbers. And I mean, after that, I mean, we'll see. But I just want what's best for him. If you know him, then, and there are those in the Hoops Club who have had a chance to meet him. They know him a little bit. They know what I'm talking about. If you know him, you just want the best for him. He's a great guy. Yanic's a great guy. And there's no question he's athletically. He has. You know, I wasn't surprised when like going, man, this guy's an athletic freak. No kidding. We see that every day. Now we're going to see what they think about him in these head-to-heads. The one thing, though, he is 22. Okay? And you know the NBA always seems to shy away a bit? Do you know what I mean?
I think with NIL and other such things, though, that's maybe not this year or next year, but they're almost going to have to kind of get rid of that bias because there's going to be a lot more of those 23, 24-year-olds coming.
Exactly. No. You're exactly right. Now, to me, as I've said once, I've said 1,000 times, the league would be much better with older players. I've always said that. To me, a more mature league is a better league. Now, it doesn't mean the young players don't bring a level of excitement to it, but how often do we see in the league, I'm talking about the NBA, where it just takes a while for some of these younger players to finally find their way in the league? And it's almost like, I'll never forget, now this is back when high school players could go, okay? So when high school players would come out, Jermaine O'Neal was a great example. Portland drafted him. And then after that, he went 4 years, and he became a free agent. When he became a free agent, I think he went to Indiana with the Pacers. And he started being an all-star with the Pacers. And Portland's complaint was, we're the ones that spent all the time developing him. Well, is it any surprise that the 4 years he spent in Portland would have been his freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior years in college? Right? I mean that's the part where a lot of people don't grasp that even as great as Kobe Bryant was, and Kobe Bryant was just one of the true greats of all time, but his first 2 years, he had flashes. He wasn't great. He had flashes. It wasn't until his third year, which would have been his junior year in college, that he started to take off. And that is, part of the issue with drafting younger players. You can get a more finished product when they're a little bit older. Okay. We'll see. It doesn't mean you can't have young players step in and be great right away. My goodness. LeBron James stepped in, was great right away. Kevin Garnett may have taken a little bit, but he was really darn good early in his career. Victor Wembanyama. I'm sitting here in San Antonio. There's stand-up Victors and rest. The restaurant I was in this morning had a stand-up Victor in it. Darn, he's tall. That's like, okay. Actual size? Yep. He's been terrific right out of the gate. Now, not a playoff team yet. They will be, but he's been terrific out of the gate. Some players are like that. But how many of those guys along the way are terrific? How many rookie players are out there right now making contributions in the playoffs?
None?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, none.
I was going to say, I keep thinking Podominski from the Warriors is a rookie, but I guess he's in his second year now.
Yeah. Yep. It's just, it is a league where veterans thrive. And that's why, we keep talking about the young players coming up. Like the Victor Wembanyama's of the world, who are just phenomenal. They are phenomenal. He is phenomenal. It just takes time. All right, TV. We're going to start getting some tidbits on TV start times. And again, we'll see what Yanic does. I won't doubt he does very well at this. I don't doubt it at all. And I know everybody's looking at the roster. Oh my God, and Penn State's cooked if he goes. Look, you got to feel good for people. Okay, are you openly rooting for him not to do well? My goodness. I just saw a post put out about Devon J. Thomas signing with Tampa Bay. That's great. I just saw Devon on Thursday. He was going down for the rookie free agent camp. I saw him on Thursday down in Baltimore. I mean, do I want Penn State to do great? Sure. Am I thrilled about all the guys on the football team, for example, that were brought back because of roster retention money? Nicholas Singleton, Katron Allen, Nick Dawkins, Khalil Dinkins, Venga Ioane, Drew Shelton, Drew Allard, Denai Dennis Sutton, Zane Durant, Zakee Wheatley, right? Because of roster retention money, they're all back for their fourth years. That's huge. That puts Penn State positionally in a great spot with not only the college football playoff, but making a deep run in the college football playoff. They have that potential to do it. Do I want to see the same thing in basketball? Of course I do. I mean, you may sit there and root all the time, pro and con, with Penn State basketball and living on shots and so forth. But how many of you turn the TV off when things aren't going well? Well, guess what Dick Girardi and I don't do? We don't get up and leave. We take it right to the end of some tough games. I mean, you don't think the two of us want to announce great games like we did 2 years ago? I mean, look at all the great games we announced 2 years ago when they made a run to the second round of the NCAA tournament. I mean, that was phenomenal. Okay? You don't think we want that? Of course we do, but we also want the players individually to succeed. You get to know them a little bit. So I hope he does great, and then we'll see how it plays out. People hate when I say, let's see how it plays out. They hate that. They want more information than let's see how it plays out. You know what I'm talking about.
I was going to say, there's not much more you can do with this one, though.
No, you can't. What, am I supposed to guess? I'm not going to sit here and guess. What do you think? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I realize that we're in an era where all these shows are supposed to give you all the answers. I'm not going to sit here and give you all the answers. If I don't know, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I know 59 guys will get drafted. Some will be foreign players. Some will be college players. We'll see. All right, so the Notre Dame home TV schedule is out. See, this is what I like about what Notre Dame does, and I always have. Always have liked this about Notre Dame. Notre Dame fans know when their games are going to be. So if you go to South Bend, Notre Dame Stadium, on September 13th, you got Texas A&M at 7:30. Then if you go September 20th, you got Purdue at 3:30. On October 4th, you got Boise State at 3:30. On October 11th, you've got NC State at 3:30. That's the Peacock game, by the way. Then you've got a game with USC on October 18th, 7:30. Navy on November 8th at 7:30, and Syracuse on November 22nd is 3:30. If you're a Notre Dame fan and you've got season tickets, you know all the kickoffs in May. Why can't the Big Ten do that? I don't get it. I don't understand. I realize you're talking about one school, okay? So being one school, yeah, I understand one school has the ability to put out a schedule. But, to be honest with you, why can't the Big Ten do this? And then if you want to use the month of November to do a 2-week flex on a game, you should be allowed to.
Well, you know what Big Ten, what weeks the Big Ten's not going to be on prime time on NBC at least.
Yeah, it's true.
we got a little bit narrowed down.
Yeah, September 13th, which wouldn't matter to Penn State. October 18th. November 8th. That for Penn State, that's the Indiana game. October 18th. I'm trying to think what that one is. That's Northwestern, maybe? Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it's Northwestern, I believe. And September 13th is a bye week. I don't know. Or no, that might be the Villanova game. Yeah, the September 13th is the Villanova game.
Well, that's certainly not going to be the primetime NBC game that week.
No. But look, I mean, but why can't the Big Ten do this? Why can't? In other words, in basketball, don't tell, well, there's so many teams. No, in basketball, they put out a TV schedule, and there may be a flex date for one game near the end. But other than that, they stick to it in basketball. You know what time the games tip off. You know what network they're on, the whole deal. They do it later. They do it around September 18th or 19th. Okay, that's fine. But, I don't understand why the Big Ten can't do this. Why don't you sit there and actually do the draft live? Why don't you do the draft live? Okay? In other words, sit there and do a TV draft live on BTN. You don't think that people would not sit there and watch it? Of course they would. You could do the whole schedule, week by week, and then put in the caveat of you're allowed to flex games in November, but you need 12 days ahead of time to flex the game. Right?
Yeah, and
what's wrong with that?
Nothing. I don't understand why they can't do the first 4 weeks of Big Noon Saturday right now. I understand they want a little flexibility of that stuff later on in the season, but pick that stuff and then you go from there.
I don't get it. We have Neil today at 2?
Yep.
Cool. A little day ahead of time. We already know the Eagles and Cowboys will be the opening game for the NFL on Thursday, September 4th. I mean, we do have that. It'll be the first preseason game for each team. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. That's because neither team will play anybody in the preseason. So I don't know how good the teams are going to be.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
When car repairs get difficult,
well, I just don't know. Me neither.
We get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory-trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6 Monday through Friday, Saturday 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Half hour brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, light, business, boat, motorcycle, RV. Yes, if you're looking into Medicare products. Okay. As well, supplementals. And they will make sure you're fully insured, but they also want to save you money. Customer service means everything to them. At Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury, go to purdyinsurance.com. Okay, so we talked about Yanic in the opening half hour. Be a big week for him. We'll see how it plays out. And Now we're talking about schedules. Now, we already know the order of games Penn State's playing. That's not the issue. The question is, what time do they kick off? I don't get any of this, to be frank with you. I don't get how college sports or college football, not sports, college football, every other sport in college, every other one, including men's basketball, you know what the start times are. It may be September 19th, 18, 19, right around there when they announce the college basketball schedule, but they give you the network and the time. So you know, okay, 6-7 weeks before the opening game, what the tip-off time is for a game in February, let alone November. College football? No. And as ridiculous as originally I felt like, I said, no, the NFL, this is going to be Wednesday, by the way, does their schedule release, and they televise it. I was like, you're televising a schedule release? Really? Now, this is years ago. Okay. And now I'm the one advocating here years later that the Big Ten needs to do this. Because this is, I mean, it's absurd to me. College football must be beyond one of the greatest sports in the world, because the TV people do everything they can to throw up roadblocks to your experience. Well, we'll tell you a couple of the kickoff times. Okay. And 12 days out, we'll give you more. And once in a while, we'll do it 6 days out. You're like, oh, you know, I'd like to go. I'd like also to plan my life. Why can't they do it like, I mean, you know, when the NFL came out with they're televising the schedule release? Well, now it's a big deal. Well, this is what the Big Ten and the SEC should be doing. Televise it. Show the draft. Have every kickoff time in place, with the caveat that there's a 12-day flex in the month of November. You don't have to flex games in September and October. You don't. All right? You don't need to do that. Penn State's playing Oregon. Do you need to flex that game? No. All right? Penn State doesn't play at Ohio State till, November 1? Okay? Well, that's in that November 1 game is in the 12-day flex region. Okay? It turns out there are 5 Saturdays in November. Right? So the last 5 games could all be in the flex region. That game's in Columbus. It wouldn't affect Penn State fans except one's going to the game. So it's be about, 4,000 that would get tickets through Penn State for that game. Why can't you do that? Put it on BTN. Televise it. Why not? Have some fun with it. Who knows? Maybe Fox puts a lot of different things on, including the UFL. I came very close to going to a UFL game on Friday night. San Antonio was playing D.C. My son-in-law and I talked about it, and it was kind of like, kind of came and went. Actually watched some of it on TV here. Wasn't that bad, actually. It was actually a decent game.
Probably sums up the problems the UFL has.
Well, we looked at the tickets, and I think we could get them in the corners of the Alamo Dome because the upper deck's closed for like $22. Parking's $35. Like, okay. But why? Am I wrong about this?
No, but we talked a lot about this. We talked about this last year. I don't understand why they don't do it either. I mean, like I said earlier, they know. I can't believe they don't know where they're going like the first 4 weeks. So those are your noon games, and and they can go from there.
I mean, look, I can understand, for example, okay, a team like Indiana, which a year ago at this time, hey, look, we can just schedule them, whatever, don't worry about it, bum, 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 bum. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they end up in the flex zone. Right? When they played Ohio, but see, those two, their games with Ohio State and Michigan last year were both in November. So, I mean, they didn't play Penn State. They didn't play Oregon. So their two biggest games, home with Michigan and at Ohio State, would both be November games, and they would have been in the flex zone. So what, at that point, now you do know who's, quote, come out of nowhere to suddenly put themselves in a position. So Indiana did that last year. Okay. But you should be able to schedule all these games and make November a flex zone where you have the ability to flex games with a 12-day window if need be. And maybe you put a limit on the number of flex games a team can have. We're going to flex games in November. By the way, you can only be flexed twice. What's difficult? I don't understand what's difficult about this. I mean, I think it's better than doing it by the seat of your pants.
I was going to say there was a couple weeks last year where it was like 7 days before we got the kick time for for one or two of the Penn State games, wasn't it?
Right, exactly. Those are the 6-day windows where suddenly we find out on Sunday when the kickoff is. I'm sorry, if you can't sit there 12 days out and figure out that's a good game, you really should resign your job with the network. I don't get what they do with college football. If you could take a college basketball schedule, okay, and a college basketball, now I realize that you've got every day of the week to use. I understand that. I mean, Penn State literally played on all 7 days of the week last year, okay? So I realize you've got the flexibility to do that in basketball. In football, look, there is a Friday night game. There's Saturday games. The Big Ten doesn't do any Thursday games. You know what you want to do Black Friday ahead of time. Labor Day weekend is the one time you do have a couple of Thursday dates on Labor Day weekend because it goes Thursday. In fact, all 5 days at Labor Day are used. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Now, Sunday and Monday are nationally televised games. Now, whether the Big Ten's going to be a part of that or not, but like ESPN will do that, no question. They'll put a game on Sunday. They'll put a game on Monday.
There's a name for that Monday game now or something, isn't there? Something.
Yeah.
Like the Dr. Pepper. I don't know. That's usually the one with the S. That was LSU and Florida State, I think, last year.
Yeah, well,
before Florida State became Florida State.
I have a name for it too. It's called Labor Day.
Yes.
All right. So, but this is where we are with this, and I mean, they make it so difficult on people who want to go to games. I mean, college football somehow succeeds in spite of itself. College football somehow succeeds in spite of TV because TV throws every roadblock in the way to make your experience of going to a game one where it's very difficult to plan, except you know it's Saturday. That's the prerequisite. Well, the game's on Saturday.
At some point.
Okay, what time Saturday? Well, yeah, we'll get to you on that. We'll let you know. Like, okay. I mean, maybe if it's at noon, I want to go Friday. Maybe if it's at 3:30 or 7:30, I want to stay over Saturday. I mean, it's like, talk to me here. I mean, you have the ability. You're the one with the product. To me, if you're the one with the product, you've got enough power to look at somebody and say, "Hey, look, let's do it this way," and televise it. Why not? As somebody who was like, you've got to be kidding me, the NFL's televising the schedule release? I said that a few years ago. Well, guess what? I'm now the one advocating that the Big Ten should sit there and say, okay, let's find out what time Iowa and Nebraska are kicking off. Iowa, Minnesota. Iowa, Wisconsin. So Iowa's easy because those three schools are on Iowa's schedule every year because they protected them. I mean, really. And, for me, I don't care. I don't care. Jack Ham and I will show up and be on the air 90 minutes before whatever kickoff they pick. We just go with the flow. So it's not like I care. I don't care. I care for you, the fan. This game is still about entertainment for the fan. It's still about the passion of the fan. It's still about the people that show up in the stadium or the arena. I mean, I've talked about that so many times that's really the number one thing I think of all the time with this stuff. Me? Doesn't matter to me. I did a basketball game at USC on a Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Game was over, went through, grabbed a Chick-fil-A sandwich, got on the bus, went over to LAX, boom, got on the plane after going through security, bang, 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 plane took off, landed at 6:30 in the morning in State College, got some sleep, went to work. Okay? It doesn't affect me. So this has nothing to do with me complaining because I'm involved in it. Doesn't affect me in the least. It's you I'm thinking about.
He just winds you up and points you to the stadium.
Pretty much, that's about it. Jack Ham and I are in the last row of the bus. We are on bus 4, last row. So if you're ever wondering why we're the two that get off the buses last, there's a reason. All right? Because we're on the last bus and we're in the last two seats. And we select the last two seats, by the way. We're not assigned them. On the bus, we're not assigned seats on the bus. We just like to sit in the last row. It's just been our choice. So then we get there, they point me toward the field, I talk. Now what time I have to start talking? Okay. Now,
they tell you 6 days before.
Yeah, 6 days before. Hey, don't forget. You got to look down there. I'm like, it's like, well, the Orange Bowl. Well, the Orange Bowl, we had to go from downtown Miami out to Miami Gardens. There was so much traffic because the game was on a Thursday night. No, was the game Thursday night? Ding, 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 ding. And we went through rush hour traffic on the way over, and we had a police escort. And we couldn't move even with a police escort. We're crawling along. All right. And finally, when we got to an area where we had to change highways, unfortunately the exit was on the left. Then after that we flew, but we got there like, geez, I don't know. Was the game at 8 o'clock? No, the game was at 7:30, so the game we would have been on at 6 o'clock. And I think we walked into Hard Rock Stadium at like 20-6. And then we went to the elevator, and the elevator was full. So then we had to wait for it to come back down. When it came back down, it was like, oh, we can't fit people in. And I normally don't say anything, but this time I did. I said, guys, we're the Penn State radio team. We're on the air at 6 o'clock. They went, okay, they crammed us in, and they got us up there. And we walked in the booth. Right, Roger was passed out on the floor. He thought we were never showing up.
I was going to say, if you were getting concerned, I can only imagine what Roger was like.
Oh. You always know with him because, well, we're here. I know you'd be. He always answers like that, which means he was freaked out of his mind. I've been around him long enough where I know, like it's one of those, like, covers. He's like, okay, don't worry about it. We're here. We're good.
I wonder when the first elevator door, the one you didn't make open, when it opened up top.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. I mean, the only good part was that we were waiting. Fumi Franklin came by, so I got a chance to talk to her. That was good, but yeah.
Shouldn't you be upstairs? Was that her first words?
Yeah, she says, no, she said, at least you're here. I said, yeah. I said, we made it. So we just got to get up to wherever we're going. Because this is a completely different broadcast location than what we had in 2006, the 2006 Orange Bowl. I'd never been in this part of the stadium before, so I wasn't quite sure where I was going when I got off the elevator. Okay. That's fine. No big deal.
You made it, obviously.
I showed up.
Yeah. I heard
What
you.
A view. Yeah. I was there. I swear to you. I swear to you. It was not AI.
I was going to say it wasn't like ESPN and Canadian hockey.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There were a few games in 2020 in basketball we had to do like that. It's not good. To be honest with you, it's not good. But
we did some stuff in 2020 from The Office too. It's not.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
The fact that they still are doing it like that because they want to save some shekels. I mean, are you kidding me? You're kidding me. I heard that about the Canadian. Then why'd you get the contract to do the games?
Is it California? Is it the Angels that are still sending road radio people? It's the Angels and I think somebody else too.
Toronto?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm going to look that up, see if the Angels still. That's absurd. Because I know Terry Smith. Terry used to do Ohio State before Paul Keels. So I know Terry. Great dude. I always knew he loved baseball. That was his favorite, but still. I'll look that up.
The Angels are messing around with the start times, too, because I guess I was reading this maybe 2 weeks ago that you're supposed to leave. They started a game at like 6:39 because it was the latest they could start on a getaway day. They're the only ones that won't start in the afternoon on getaway days. Because they want the night crowd and not the afternoon crowd.
Oh, boy. Wow. Yeah. Let's see. They have a lot of stories on the blackout information in Major League Baseball. Let's see. Well, the last story I have on the Angels is 2023. Who doesn't broadcast road MLB games today? Let's see here. Teams not broadcasting road games in Major League Baseball today include. No. They may all be broadcasting on the road now.
I was going to say, like you, I find up to the 2023, but not after.
Yeah, I think everybody's doing it now. It's about time. Then you have the Islanders. The Islanders got rid of their radio team.
Now, is the plan? I wonder if the plan is just to use the TV voiceover on the radio station, or just no radio broadcast at all?
I'm not sure.
Because no radio broadcast at all is an interesting choice.
Yeah, I know. I mean, don't you want people driving away from the arena listening to the postgame show? Which includes lots of hints about when the next home game is?
And advertisers.